Your spouse can refuse to sign, but that alone cannot permanently stop a Texas divorce. The court can still move the case forward when the legal process is properly followed. That process begins when one spouse files an original petition for divorce in Texas. Then the other spouse needs proper notice, usually formal service of citation, unless they sign a valid waiver of service after filing. But if they file an answer after receiving notice, they are participating in the case. It does not mean they agree to the divorce terms. The divorce may become contested over property, debts, child custody, visitation, support, or retirement accounts. If you cannot settle those disputes, the court can decide them at a hearing or trial. But if your spouse is properly served and never files an answer, the case can move toward a default divorce. That means the court may proceed without their participation, as long as the required proof is in place. Their deadline is generally 20 days plus the following Monday to file an answer. Even then, Texas still requires the 60-day waiting period after filing before the divorce can be finalized. But even after the 60-day waiting period, a default is not automatic. You still must show the court that your spouse was properly served and that the relief you request is legally supported. A judge can grant the divorce without your spouse participating, but only after the required paperwork and testimony are presented. But once the court has the required paperwork and testimony, refusing to sign is not a way to keep the marriage legally in place. A spouse can slow things down by requiring formal service or contesting the terms, but refusal alone does not stop the case. The real choice is whether to answer the case, work toward a settlement, or do nothing and let it move forward by default. Participating can shape the outcome. Silence can leave the court deciding without that spouse's input. And when a spouse participates, the dispute often centers on the terms. Property and debts must be divided, and if children are involved, custody, visitation, and child support may need to be resolved. Retirement accounts can also be part of the division. Instead of leaving each of those decisions to a judge, you and your spouse may be able to negotiate a settlement or use mediation to work through the disagreements before the court has to decide. But even if you are working toward a settlement, the case can be held up when residency rules are missing, service was improper, or a waiver is invalid. Under Texas Family Code Section 6.4035, a waiver must be signed after filing, notarized, include a mailing address, and cannot use a digitized signature. However, a valid waiver is only one part of keeping the case on track. File correctly, complete proper service, and track the answer deadline so you know whether the case is moving toward agreement, a contest, or default. Some cases require extra court steps before finalization. A spouse refusing to sign divorce papers does not mean they can stop the divorce. It may change how the case moves forward, but Texas law provides a process for getting the case to the finish line. If you're trying to understand your next step in a Texas divorce, visit ReadyDivorceService.com for educational resources and guidance based on your situation. Divorce simplified, life reclaimed.